My project focuses on the Mediterranean diet and whether it is associated with the reduced risk of cancer or not. What is the Mediterranean diet? This diet is considered a heart-healthy diet, and it is based on the traditional culinary habits of all the countries that border the Mediterranean Sea, hence the Mediterranean diet. It emphasizes a lot of whole foods such as whole grains, as well as plant-based foods including fruits, vegetables, legumes, etc. It also emphasizes using extra virgin olive oil as the primary source of fat. Fish is also consumed regularly in this diet, while red meat and sweets are not. Their consumption is limited. So, does this diet actually reduce cancer risk? Let's have a look. The Mediterranean diet is being increasingly recognized for its potential role in reducing the risk of cancer and supporting the overall health of cancer patients and cancer survivors. Research shows that this diet is rich in antioxidants, fiber, and anti-inflammatory compounds, all of which help reduce oxidative stress in our bodies and chronic inflammation, both of which are linked to cancer development and cancer progression. A review of studies found that strong adherence to this diet is associated with an overall reduced cancer mortality and the lower risk of several types of cancers, which include colorectal cancer, breast cancer, gastric cancer, and prostate cancers. Let's look at the evidence to support this claim. In this study, scientists administered a Mediterranean-like diet to mice, and they studied its influence on the composition of their gut microbes, the levels of metabolites in their blood, and the functioning of their immune cells within the tumor microenvironment. So this is the environment in which the tumor grows. Experiments were carried out in multiple murine tumor models, which are basically experimental systems that use mice to study cancer biology and tumor growth. They also used immune cell functional studies, which are studies that test the function of immune cells, and additional human data, all of which increase the validity of the results. Speaking of the results, this study showed that this diet prevented the immune exhaustion in the mice, which thus inhibited their tumor growth. Therefore, the study offers experimental evidence of how the Mediterranean diet lowers the risk of cancer through the gut microbiome metabolite immune axis. This is the axis which connects the gut microbiome, metabolites in our blood, and the immune system. This significantly strengthens the claim that the Mediterranean diet is associated with a reduced risk of cancer. In study number 2, the authors used information provided by this prospective study, E3N, which includes 98,995 female participants who were followed since 1990. The consumption of the Mediterranean diet, or the MD, was assessed using a validated questionnaire on food consumption and was quantified in terms of scores on a 9-point scale, which was based on the intake of many types of foods, including fruits, vegetables, legumes, fish, olive oil, dairy products, meat, and finally, alcohol. The cases of skin cancers in this study were diagnosed through medical records, which increases its validity. In the results of this study, it was found that the consumption of the Mediterranean diet is associated with a significantly lower risk of developing melanoma, which is a type of skin cancer. Therefore, this article adds a new dimension to our research question as it extends the scope of cancers and proves that they can be prevented or at least delayed by consuming this type of diet. Therefore, I believe it is safe to conclude that following the Mediterranean diet can be used as a tactic to avoid or at least delay the development of cancer.